And I remember being with Megan one day and she said, you need to choose between this and held a can of VB and me. And I thought, can I have some time to think about that? I mean, we laugh about it now. And I mean, that's where I was at. You want to impress someone, impress yourself.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I'm sick of trying to like make people happy. I'd rather just be myself. And if people like me, they do. And if they don't, that's okay too. I've kind of got used to that.
The answer is not in learning how to run a better business or understanding your numbers. The answer is in you.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like these stories. G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of Level Up. We are back in the shed this afternoon for another cracking episode. The guest I got on for you today is quite random. I'll give you a little bit of backstory before we get going, but a lot of you will know that I've been putting a lot into my training over the last sort of 6 to 8 months, and 3 weeks ago we, Shay and I and two other mates did the 48-kilometre Kokoda Challenge. And we were training for that a lot up the Sunshine Coast, doing a few hill walks and things. And we met this guy, Brett, from Run Queensland. How are you, buddy?
I'm pretty good, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Pretty random. But,
very random. I was 30K into a 50K training run.
You look like you just started, mate.
Yeah, just picked my son up probably 10K before that. And he did the back 30K with me. He was 21, which was, it's nice to spend a few hours with my son out in the bush there. We're on Jack Ferris Lookout. We all climbed that together, and you met yourself and Shay and started talking about running. And the event you did, I've sort of been following you guys a little bit with the running and was pretty interested to see how you went with your event.
We went well, mate. But I know now there's things I should have done that my trainer was telling me with my knees and things, but I was cooked by the end of it. My knees were hurting.
You're certainly not a true trail runner, because usually the best thing about trail running is telling everyone about what you did. I've been waiting for, I've listened to I've listened to tons of your podcasts actually since we met.
Yeah.
And I kind of was waiting for these results, and I'm like, where are they? And I couldn't find them actually online, and Shay sent me a link. So
I put them on I was talking about a bit on my socials on my Instagram, but I don't know what it is, mate, but I just felt a real connection with you when we talked that day, and I reached out to you to come on because this podcast is about telling stories. Yes, it's to do with the construction industry and better building and all those types of things, but I think you've got a lot to offer. Like I left after meeting you that day, like we drove home just inspired in the car, like holy shit, like that bloke's unreal, like he's going to run 160 kilometers, and so. Tell us about your race, because you've done your race too since we met.
Yeah, I've been ultra running since I was probably 35, so it's a long while ago now.
Yeah.
I'm 52 now and still going. Like everyone told me my knees would be buggered by now and all that, so they're
Mate,
not.
You're a bloody good-looking 52-year-old, I tell you. Like, if this is what running does, I'm going to keep doing it.
I'll tell you what, I'm bloody good getting on this podcast now. I kind of got given a book in 2007 by my father-in-law called Ultra Marathon Man, Confessions of an All-Night Runner. Dean Karnassus was his name. And I read this book from, cover to the back in really quick time. And he talked about his experience of a race that I have been to now in America. And I decided I'd go past my normal 7K loop. I ran a little bit longer, but nothing long. And I just ran, and I kind of ended up. I just kept running, and I ran about 24 Ks, and I had no water. I didn't know that. I don't know if you guys have had this experience. I didn't know that you're probably going to go to the toilet early in the morning. So lucky for me, lucky people dump stuff around Glasshouse. So I found a KFC box, and that was very lubricated. But anyway, one of those moments that I was like, God, what is this? And I got home, I was exhausted, fell asleep, and woke up and I thought, that was amazing. My wife couldn't believe I actually sat down during the day because I'm pretty hypo. And
because that was something we talked about a little bit. Like we literally, like I think you come up behind us, like we were walking, you were running, and we just started chatting, and then next thing you know, we're at a bit of a lookout, and we all just pulled up for whatever it was, 10, 15 minutes, had a bit of a chat. But that was something else that interested me, because you talked about ADHD and how the running calms you and all that sort of thing. So, and that's something I like talking about on this podcast, because a lot of people in the construction industry have those types of things. So But what got you in? What were you doing before that? Like you, what's your background like?
Well, yeah, I've always loved sport. I mean, I was playing lawn bowls when I was 15, and got into greenkeeping. So I'm a greenkeeper by trade, in Sydney, and left Sydney and then came up here and just I couldn't get a job that paid any money. And I had a young family, so I ended up being a postie for a bit. And then I got into the running, and I was doing all odd jobs, different things up around here, working as a contract mail person, and a bit of greenkeeping at the little Glasshouse Bowls Club there, whatever I could pick up. And then I was doing the running, and there was another fella there, and I said, I wonder if you could make a business out of running. And he had a couple of races, and then we just started moving forward with it. And I really wanted there's a race in Sydney called Ultra Trail Australia, but it's called North Face 100 in the Blue Mountains. And I'd been and done it. And I wanted to do something like that up here. And so I did a bit of recce runs and that up in Mapleton. We came up with a Blackall 100, but no one would let us in the national park. And I just couldn't work out how do you do this sort of thing. And we had smaller races and stuff. And I just went and spoke to someone said in national parks, actually, we hate it when we get talked to by politicians. And I thought, what does he mean by that? So I went to the politicians and I showed them, and I said, look, this is an event we do in Sydney, and I take a lot of people with me. I usually have 8 friends, and we, spend a lot of money and all that sort of stuff. And as soon as you start talking money, politicians seem to listen. They don't seem to be interested in much else. And about 3 days later, I had a call from National Parks, and we had this event. It took 18 months, which you probably can appreciate just with your event that you've done the other day with your Level Up, which I'd love to hear a little bit more about if you're happy to share about that too.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was brutal. And we got this little race going, and we put it on in 2014 for the first time. And I owed a lot of people a lot of money after that. And so I was working my jobs trying to cover this race. And luckily for me, I had these relationships with these people. They believed in what we were doing, and they believed in about getting people onto the trail. I think it's something that saved my life. My wife calls it my soul work when she sees me doing what I do, especially in the long races, because you go into spaces that I think people pay a lot of money for drugs for, but I get to do that in these moments when you just think you can't do any more, and you got nothing left.
Mate, you've done well for yourself, because the other thing, I think everything happens for a reason, and people you don't just run into people for random. And I don't know what it is yet. I'm sure it's going to poke its head out at some point. But there's a reason we ran into each other that day, and I'm a big believer in that. You've got to look after everyone, and just through our little conversation, I don't know how it come up, but I think you might have been talking about I think you had bananas with you or something, and you were telling us how you'd picked them from home, and then that led into you got a food for us, and I was telling you how we've just met this guy and we're doing his design in our yard, and it turns out it's the same bloody guy. And then you were telling me how awesome it is, and you've had it 3 years, and you literally walk out your yard and you pick your food and stuff. So I think you're an example of what a lot of people are trying to achieve. You're following your dreams, and you've made it into a living, and you're living a very healthy, connected, comfortable life.
Yeah, look, it's the business of the running. Just quickly with that, I don't make a lot of money. I get a lot more than that anyway from watching people do what I've always loved doing. When we do the Blackall, we got 24 hours to finish it. So there's people that are going to walk that whole thing, and they'll walk across that line, and I can see the tear, and I understand what they're going through. And I get teary with it when I'm doing it with them. I haven't slept like them. I'm waiting for them. And, I know what they've gone through to get there. And it means a lot to me to be able to share that. And yeah, so that's pretty cool. So, and then I think the other stuff that's happened is my wife's really connected to the planet. And I'm lucky that I met her. So, I actually think this, I've contemplated this because I've listened to your podcast. It's really weird because I listen to people saying, I can't get enough of his podcast. And I listened to the first one and I thought, this isn't really it's about building, but it's not about building to me.
Yeah.
It's about, when I listen to you, I can hear that you're passionate about everything. I just walk through your yard and I'm like, does he build these things as well? Like, you got tiny, freaking tiny homes. I'm like, this guy does everything. Your passions, you know, I can see your passion.
Yeah.
And I can feel that. And I could feel that day. Those, you know, Shay and Brett was there with you, and I didn't get to meet your fourth guy in that run. And, you know, then I listened to the podcast and thought, oh, that's why I met this guy, because he's all about improving oneself and not pointing the finger at other people and trying to take responsibility. And I think that's what I've tried to do. I'm not great at it all the time, but, you know, and that regenerative farming thing that you spoke about, we had these old macadamias that were just shit. We thought we were going to be macadamia farmers when we moved to Glasshouse, and they were so run down and the soil was dead. And we met Tiago from Syntropic Solutions, and within 3 weeks we cut down 40 macadamias that became part of the garden. We recycled all the trees in the same way that you're recycling houses, and put them into the garden. And, you know, they want to put eucalypts every 1 meter. And I'm like, what are they talking about? And I just trusted that they knew what they were doing. And they've brought this from their culture from Brazil. Yeah. And, you know, I'm pulling out vegetables now and bits of trees and stuff. I didn't even know of them, like things like cassava. And then I've got Brazilians that come to my house that randomly I meet, and we're making all these dishes out of these foods that I thought were just, you know, we're classified as weeds. And I'm like, you know, pineapples under every bloody eucalyptus every meter, and, you know, we're eating these beautiful pineapples that grow in the shade.
I love it, mate. Like, I just think there's something about being able to walk out into your own garden and pick your own food. Like, I just think it's fantastic.
It is. I mean, at the moment we're getting the citrus at the moment. It's just unreal. And you know, we don't spray, we don't fertilize, we don't water, and this thing grows like it's pumping. Like, it's just the bananas in winter, you know, and you know, things that I was told as a tradesperson wouldn't happen are just happening. Like, you know, things don't grow under eucalypts.
Well, being a greenkeeper, like, you'd be all about fertilizers and bloody.
Mate, I'm probably I've got a green shirt on, but I'll tell you underneath, I'm wonder I'm not glowing green from it. The amount of sprays and that. I mean, I watch those guys playing lawn bowls and I think, man, I'm surprised half those guys ain't got cancer, because, you know, you spray for African black beetle, which I don't know if you're allowed to use those chemicals anymore, but they're almost like the termite ones. I think they are chloropyrifos. I think that's a termite.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Pretty sure that's the active ingredient in it. And then you'd see them lick their fingers as they roll their bowl, you know what I mean? And then they pick the bowl up, and I'm like, gosh, you know, and we'd be in spacesuits, so we're spraying in the middle of summer.
But see, most people don't even think about that, but there's chemicals everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Like, I'm very conscious of it now, just in building, like with the products that our team are handling. Like, I'm pushing them all the time, like, wash your hands, wear gloves. Like, it's because all of that stuff's affecting us.
Totally. I mean, listening to some of the podcasts of yours, I'm blown away. I'm hearing, I mean, that fella with the solar.
Yeah.
I was like, 40% of the bloody planet's silver goes into solar. I'm like, how is this helping the planet?
It's not, mate.
You know,
we can go on all day about that. Like, I just, I definitely got views on that. I think all that stuff's just a massive big rort. But, like, there's only just been an article come out in the last few days, like Australia's about to shut down its first ever solar farm. Like, it's not even, I don't know, I think it's, someone will give me shit or tell me I got the numbers wrong or whatever. It's like 18 or 22 years old or something, and it's the maintenance and the cost to repair it is outweighing the cost of leaving it there. Yeah. So not even taking into account the actual windmills themselves, or whatever they're called, they're now going to leave over 200,000 tons of concrete in the ground. Like, it's so ridiculous.
I think that the planet's in trouble. I really do. And I think
keep going the way we're going, it's going to be.
I don't think we're connected. I don't think that, and I don't think it's by accident either. I don't think we're connected to the planet in the way that we should be. And when you start talking like that, you kind of get ridiculed for it or made to be a fool. And it's like, someone's going to worry about whether it's 18 to 22 years old, not the fact that it's failed and it's crap and it's leaving this massive footprint that nothing's going to grow on for, I don't know, probably ever.
And the amount, just the amount of everything that had to go into making that, and the land that was destroyed to build it, and now it's just going to be left there to deteriorate and fucking look like an eyesore.
Yeah.
I think it's disgusting, but I can't believe how many, I don't know how long ago it was we met. It wasn't that long ago, 2 months, 3 months maybe.
Yeah.
But you've listened to a lot of podcasts in that time.
I do a lot of driving, and sometimes when I'm running, well, I think I've been off podcasts for such a long time because I used to listen to a lot of running ones. And, I guess after a while, but you're bringing in so many different people. I'm kind of like, what's this one about this time? And, that book I'm talking about, the Confessions of an All-Night Runner, it wasn't about running. I mean, yeah, he ran, but this guy was on his 30th birthday, pissed, hated his job, was thinking of kind of like, there's this moment where this bird says to him on the dance floor, something about being married, and he said, I'm married. Sorry, was sort of dancing with him, and she asked, was he married? And he said, yeah. And she goes, I don't worry, so am I. And he's gone home and put his work clothes on and just ran 50 kilometers. And from that moment, he said, I've got to change my life. This is what I want to do. And he was in a really high-paying job, but he was dying inside.
Yeah.
And I just think there's so many people that are doing that with their lives, and it's like you only get one crack at it. So, I mean, I'm kind of, am I lucky? I don't know if I'm lucky with what I do. I
don't think any of us are lucky.
I feel like I'm really blessed, and I feel like
I've got to create your own path.
Totally. And I feel like, you're running along, and next minute I didn't tell you about the Japan run. So yeah, that sorry, jumping all over. That's where we started, wasn't it?
But mate, I definitely, let's tell the audience about the Japan run. But mate, it's important. I think it's important to get people like yourself on this podcast, and for you and I to connect and have these conversations, because I am so committed now to showing people that if you're not right, nothing around you can be right. So I'm on a mission. My mission is definitely well and truly taken off for creating a new building industry. But the answer is not in learning how to run a better business or understanding your numbers. The answer is in you.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like these stories and meeting people like yourself, because it's all relatable. Like it all ties in, and I guess it shows people. I think life has to be a heap of experiences. So meeting you was an experience.
Yeah.
Like I left that conversation, like we got in the car and we're like, fuck, like that bloke was unreal. Like his energy was off the charts. Like what a great bloke. Like,
yeah.
So you've given me an experience, and I think that's how we should live our lives. Like everything we do should be an experience that we look back on, we reflect on, and we appreciate the people we meet, the things we do, the food we eat, the places we go.
Yeah.
And when you can do that well, everything else just falls into place.
Yeah.
And so I definitely want to hear about your Japan thing, but I also want to come back to after that. You said you get in your head on those big runs when there's nothing else to do. You go to some pretty wild places. So,
yeah.
Tell us about Japan first.
All right. So Japan, I met you guys, I think probably 3 weeks. Yeah, it would have been about 3 weeks before. Oh, no, I'd say 6 weeks, because I know I usually do a 50K run 6 weeks before a race. We started at 5 p.m. Right under Mount Fuji. And 5 p.m. on the Friday on Anzac Day, 25th. And I finally crossed the line on Sunday morning at about 3 a.m. And in between that, it was just brutal. It was just they don't go up Fuji because they have a lot of respect for their nature, and that's their spiritual home for the Japanese is Fuji-san. So we didn't get to go up that, but we went around it. I think we went up mountains nearly as big as it, but it was going good for about 30 Ks, and then we hit this 1,000 meter climb. And it just went on for, I think the next 10 Ks took me 3 hours. And then I thought, oh shit, I'm in for it now. And it just went on from there. I met another Aussie guy during the race, and that was pretty cool. But
so how many people are in a race like this?
There was 2,000. Well, it's massive over there. The Japanese love it. 2,400.
Holy shit.
1,100, only 1,300 finished. So 1,100 dropped out. I think I was about maybe 290th or something like that. Not too bad for an old fella.
Mate, you've killed it. So like, how do you start with that many people? It's all in like groups?
They do groups, yeah. So they did groups, 4 groups of 600. We had to get bussed to the start for about an hour and a half. So it was really hard because, I mean, you guys, when you did your walk, you would have started in the morning.
Yeah.
So you had to get up, you had to get to the start, do your race bibs, go home. I sort of sat around for a bit, had a cup of tea, then went back on a bloody shuttle bus thing to the start. Then we had to get shuttled an hour and a half to the start.
Because you're starting in a time when your body's starting to wind down.
Yeah. Yeah. So that becomes tricky at night, especially around that 2 to 3. You're really wanting to have a bit of a doze off. And then as the sun comes up, it's magic. Mate, it's nothing like it. The next day when that sun starts to come up, the energy, the energy from sunrise that we should be getting that, the vitamin,
circadian rhythm,
the blue light, the blue light we should be getting when we wake up.
Yeah.
You know all about it now. And that red light at night and watching the sunset again, it's amazing. And all the bits in between. And yeah, but going into night 2, I thought, oh, this is full on. And I had high hopes of being done by 30 hours. So about maybe 10, 11 o'clock at night the next night. And it just went on and it was just brutal. But the Japanese are amazing. They have checkpoints. Like for the first 100K was hard because they were every about 25 Ks. So they made it a bit tricky. So I had no crew. It's the first time I've never had crew. Normally you can have a crew person that would, like, it's usually my wife, Megan. She'd meet me at, say, 25, 50 and have my gear and my little treats and stuff that I like. And, I had no one this time because we didn't know how to work out with cars and stuff. So anyway, I just did it on my own, but it was beautiful because they had like udon noodles and friggin' barley tea and little bits of chocolate and all these squishy, I can't remember, moshi, I think it's called mishi. All these bean pastes and stuff. So
do you have anything with you? Like
you have to carry, I think it was a litre of water. That's your minimum. I had about 1.5 litres because I knew it was 25 Ks and I could see some of the climbs were going to take me a bit. I had a little bit of food. I used to try and use those gels. I don't know if you guys had any of that stuff. I can't get it down anymore.
I had fucking bags of lollies.
Did he? So yeah, I mean, I don't know if he got sick on that. Did you get sick on it? No. So if you're going, usually when you're running with that, it's hard to digest food.
Yeah.
So if you eat too much, what ends up happening is you'll go tits up and you'll start spewing everywhere and you go green and all that because you can't digest the food because it's trying to power your legs and keep you alive sort of thing. And
I smashed my food, mate. They were like at the halfway point, like, what are you doing? What are you eating? I was like, give me more. I'm starving.
Yeah. Well, you got to be, if you're good at doing that. So,
but we were walking. We went right.
Yeah. I was trying to make it so I wasn't being a smart ass.
You tell me.
When you're walking, I mean, you guys did 14 hours, 13 or something like that. I had a look at your results. So you're sort of doing around about 4K an hour, I think that is. Like that's a nice casual walk. So you'll get away with eating.
I think our average was like 3.6 or something, mate. It was like we went into it. I thought we'll sit at 5Ks an hour. Like
it's bullshit, isn't it? It really. I love this because when we get a lot of people at the runs, they'll come and they like do their 10K. Oh, I do a 50-minute 10K, and they think that translates to this distance, and it's like next level. Anything over that where you guys are and start going on that, forget. Unless the elite runners, I mean, they are next level. The Spaniard that won the Japanese race did it in 17 hours something.
Holy shit!
He's in bed, had a sleep, had a shower.
17. So he's doing what's that? That's like 7 or 8K
an hour.
Yeah,
just under 10K an hour. I mean, but these guys are mountaineers. Like they're spectacular to watch. They look like they're sprinting up hills. You know, they're unreal.
But maybe, so what keeps you going? Like how? Because like this, we started at 7:45. I think we went under the start line, and we finished at I think 11:45 or something, or 20 to 10 or something.
Yeah,
20 to 11.
Yeah,
and my knees were hurting, and like the last 8Ks, like I had to push hard, like, and I was like, what the fuck, like, and one thing that really put me off was the last, I think 6Ks they had markers.
Oh yeah,
and I hated seeing them. I would have rather them not be there and just kept going.
And when you're doing that average you're talking about, they're coming for you every 20 minutes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like 15 to 20 minutes, you're seeing each K. So you feel like they're never coming.
Yeah.
And you're almost waiting for it. Hey, it's like, so I equated to...
it's like, have we gone the wrong way? Have we fucking missed one?
yeah, it's brutal. So I reckon every distance is like that. I don't know if building a home might be like that for the builders, you know, like when you get near the end of it and it's like tiring and stuff.
Yeah.
I reckon it's like the 800 meters, that last 200's brutal, 100-mile, you know, like for me, in my mind, I'm saying the race doesn't even start till 120 Ks. If I can get to that in okay shape, I'm a chance to finish this thing.
But what do you like? Because you're on your own as well. Like there was 4 of us, so like we were the conversation was awesome.
Yeah,
and I think that's since 7 years ago, whatever it was, 7-8 years ago when we did Everest. That's what's progressed this journey. I love the conversations you get to have with your mates or people like yourself that you run into on the walking track.
Yeah,
if someone had told me, even in my early 30s, mate, that I'd be walking, I would have just laughed at them. But I really get something out of it. But like, how do you keep going when you're on your own?
Oh, yeah, okay. So I get energy in that race being on my own. I've done those style of races that you guys did, and the one at Kokoda, they wanted to do the 96K in under 16 hours, and I got into this team late. And I thought, right, if you want to do it, let's do it. So I knew I'd be able to comfortably do that. And by about, I don't know, maybe say 80 Ks in, I knew we were thereabouts. And by the end, they were telling me to shut the fuck up. Because I was like, if you wanted to do it, let's do it. Like, you know, and so I realized that, I wasn't cut for the team thing. Like, I mean, I'm friends with the guys and that, but they ended up telling me to shut up. But what I think the running for me is, I had to shift from, like I went to AA when I was 25. I really was obsessed with drinking. I didn't drink all the time. I was enough to get to work and stuff like that. I'd turn up on Saturday mornings.
You drank to go to work?
No. I didn't drink during the week. Well, not much, but but on Friday nights, I'd be like on the piss, and I'd have to go and get greens ready on the Saturday morning. And I'm sure if I'd have been pulled over, I probably would have been over. I'd cut electrical lead in half once with a mower because I wasn't concentrating. I don't know if I was pissed, but just wasn't concentrating. And as I was going along, I just felt like I couldn't grow up. And then I was like, and I remember being with Megan one day, and she said, you need to choose between this and Helder Canner VB and me. And I thought, can I have some time to think about that? I mean, we laugh about it now. And I mean, that's where I was at. I mean, that's really poor in it. Like, as a human to be at that point.
She was serious, obviously.
I laugh about it now because it's like, more than half my life ago.
Yeah.
But when I was in it, and I remember having that kind of moment of clarity where I thought, man, there's something not right here, that this thing is so obsessive. But I think I drank, because I love talking, which you probably already recognised. And I got this mind that races all the time. Like, not so much now. And it's like a board of directors at times. And it's like there's different conversations going on and all that stuff. So that's why I feel like we're jumping around here. Maybe we're not. But
no, that's what I do too. Yeah. And I look, I've talked about this before. Like, there's no agenda on this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, and I think this is how we show people how to deal with their situation.
Yeah.
Like, if we're sitting here going from this question to this question to this question, you miss out on all the juicy stuff.
Yeah. And it's too contrived for me. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
I'd rather just be myself. And if people like me, they do. And if they don't, that's okay too. I've kind of got used to that.
No, but keep, this is a good story. Like, keep telling us.
Yeah. So when I was 25, I ended up going to AA in Blacktown in Sydney, and it was really difficult. Like, I mean, the big questions in my mind was, how am I going to go and watch the Sydney Swans play? Because all that represented was me drinking piss and watching the footy. How was I going to say my speech at my wedding? I was all these really, first world problems that were cropping up. How was Tui's going to survive all this? This what bullshit goes on for me. Yeah. And, I stopped drinking, and what I created was a life. It's embarrassing. I haven't been punched out by Maori bouncers for telling them they're racist against whites for not letting me in a nightclub when I'm blind. This is the kind of shit that was going on in my world. And I'm embarrassed to share it, actually. And I cringe because I know now it's on the podcast and that. But, I mean, I think if I reveal who I truly am,
The more we share our stories, the more people.
Yeah, the more I can be the better version of myself, because I don't have to hide this bollocks at who I am. And you know, and I stopped drinking 27 years ago, and I've got this life now. You know, I don't need money for grog or smokes or anything like that. I grow some of my food, and you know, I eat good food.
Yeah.
And I don't need tons of it anymore because I eat good stuff. I mean, you know, I listened to the last Jamie's podcast. He literally was spelling that out for people. And I think, I mean, I can see it in you. I can see it in Shay, because I didn't recognize Shay at first, because you guys have changed shape since I seen you there a few months ago, because obviously you're eating well, which I think's the key.
Yeah, it is.
And then training, and you're training slow.
Well, Jamie said, mate, like your six-pack's made in the kitchen, not in the gym.
Bloody oath it is, because you can't expose it unless you've cut all the fat off it.
Yeah.
And you do that by eating protein and fats. But and my training shifted, if you add into what they're saying, and my training is based on a guy called Phil Maffetone. And he works on this theory of your heart rate 180 minus your age. And if you're fit, you add 5 beats on, subtract 5, and you basically don't go over that training. So when I train now, I don't go over 133 beats per minute. So my little watch starts beeping when I go over that. So I'm running, walking all the time, but I can go forever. When I race, I don't do that because I can run faster. But yeah, and it's an amazing way. It's called heart rate training, and it's been going since the 70s. But this guy's never taken off. Like he said, you're never going to put that on an ad next to Gatorade in a running magazine, are you? Because he's saying make your own food and eat real shit.
Yeah.
Make your electrolytes out of honey, salt, and water. It's perfect, and all this sort of stuff. So you know, he said it's not going to sell running magazines, so they can't put it in.
Is that what you use, honey, salt, and water?
No, I use basically just salt and water. I do use a product called Infinite that we get sponsored by the guys, but I found it a long time ago. So anything that is connected to Run Queensland sponsor-wise, I either wear it or I take it.
That's how it should be.
So I don't have anything on there that I don't. So if you look for a sponsor, Brett's involved with it.
Yeah.
So even Red Bull sometimes supply us with stuff, which to me, I wouldn't drink it every day, but I have that later on in a race, and I got to say it literally gives me wings. So yeah, it switches my brain back on when I'm kind of in that cloud. And yeah, so.
So do you think, so you said you use the alcohol to slow you down and stay focused.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? Does the running do that now?
Yeah. So, yeah, it definitely switched my brain off, because I'd black out and not remember stuff, and and I started to get really unwell with that, because I'd wake up paranoid, wondering, what have I done now? What have I said? Who have I offended? And all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
At least now I know who I've offended. Yeah. So I sort of found the running, and the longer I kind of went, the more peaceful I felt. And even though you're talking with the knees and the pain and that, it's really weird. It's a weird thing to explain to people, isn't it? Because like, until you've done it, the pain I experience equals joy to a degree. It's a bizarre. It sounds stupid to say it, but
I'm with you. Like I honestly, that last 8Ks and the last kilometre, because of those stupid signs they had there, like the last 2Ks was all downhill, and some of it was quite steep, and so it definitely slowed me down. But like that was, I think, the last 5 or 6Ks we come back onto the same track that we started on, so I knew what we had to go down.
Yeah,
and it made it really hard. And like by the finish line, like I think I even said to one of the boys, like, I'm literally going to burst into tears when I cross this finish line. Like, I can't believe we've done it.
Yeah.
I've never done anything like that. But my knees were hurting. But then, like you just said, like I wanted to keep going. Like I sat down, I had a bite to eat, and it was like, what's next? Like, are we still going? Are we doing the next lap? Like, what's? Yeah. But for me, doing these things, and even just like I said, the training to do these things, I believe is what's making me a better dad, a better partner, a better business person, because it's building my resilience.
Yeah.
Like I've got to keep pushing through pain.
Yeah.
And I think like I've definitely got bloody ADHD and all that shit. I guarantee if I got tested, I'd have that. But my brain doing those walks, because my brain doesn't stop either. My wife tells me all the time, like, just stop. Like, just you're all over the place. Like, like, let's just finish the conversation. Let's finish this idea before we get on that idea. Like, but walking, and even like the training just leading up to it. Like, we got some hills around home here, and like on a weekend, one or two mates coming over, and like we're doing, like on a Sunday morning now, we'll smash out 14, 15, 18 Ks. And we'll do it, like it might be 3.5 hours, but I come back from that walk just feeling like magic.
Yeah.
Like feel lighter, feel fresh, don't feel exhausted. And I think it's not only the walking, it's the conversation.
Don't you get into, but the other thing too is, like I've ran with random people, like literally random people, and the things people reveal to you.
Yeah.
On those walks, and I don't know whether it's the action of just walking that breaks that down, and there's definitely a like that metronome sound for me. Like when I got on the trail, you hear the ch of your feet. So there's a peacefulness in that for me to start with.
Yeah.
And then the conversations you get into, I've had wonderful things that I'm sure I'm thinking, surely you've not shared that with other people.
Yeah.
You know, about really kind of deep stuff, like, you know, things that are going on in their world and that. And I'm like, it's pretty cool that you can kind of have that. And I understand that, you know, I guess when you're in the conventional world, it's always best foot forward.
Yeah.
You know, and you guys talk a lot about that on this, and I can hear it with a lot of the guys that are sharing, you know, the despair and stuff in what they've done, you know, trying to set up businesses, and, you know, the ability for someone like you guys to come and share like some information with people and that, as though, because, you know, we're all being brought up with this competitive. And it's just such shit to me. Yeah. It's like, man, that's just not creating a great community. It's just like, there's enough for everyone to 100%. Go around, but, you know, there's a few that want it all, I guess, or don't have enough, or
yeah, I'm not sure what it is, mate. But I'm just so, like, I want to help the world. Like, I just, like, you can see it in you. Like, I want to get to where you are. Like, you're buzzing. Like, you turn up here at the front door today, and like you're glowing, you're happy, you're like you're living the dream.
Well, you know that call that I was on? So that's one of my friends, right? Because I'm going in a race in 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks? Something like that. 20th of June or whatever it is. That's less than 2 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Whatever. And it's basically you got to do 6.7 kilometers within the hour and be ready to go again on the top of the hour. And you keep going till one person does one lap on their own. So I've done this a couple of times now, and I've done 31 loops and 36 loops, which is 36 hours. So I've run 242 kilometers.
Holy shit.
But I was in the race where they first broke the world record. So these guys, I was in a race, I dropped out, I think I was about 7th or something, or 10th. At 36 hours, the winners went for 102 hours. Went over 4 days. I've dropped out 2.5 and was proud of myself, but 1.5, sorry. Put a bit of GST on that. But the fella that rung, I just rang him up and I said, look, are you guys going out to this race? Because if I can get into night 2, which will be over 36 hours, Megan will want to have some sleep because she'll come out and hang out and, you know, do a bit of food for me. So it's, you know, like I'll get to hang out with her and all that. And he's just rung up, say, look, we've booked a motel. This is what he's telling me there. We're coming out. We can help with Megan for night 2. So these 2 people that I'm friends with that I've met through running and a common interest and all that sort of stuff, we've had great conversation. They're now coming out to help. And I'm just like, and simply asking. I always found it hard to ask for help. I don't know if you've ever been like that, but
yeah, I don't like asking for help.
Yeah, do it all. Try and do it. You were talking about Jack does this, Jack does that in the other podcast. I was one of those. I'm doing all of it, and I'm setting up for our race next weekend. I'm like, I'm that guy.
Yeah.
I've got my finger in all bits and pieces, and we're not a big business or anything like that, but I've got enough great guys in our team that like sort of contract because it's smaller, just races every now and then. That I could just say, go and do that. But I'm there. I don't know what I'm trying to demonstrate. Like I'm here, I'm part of it.
I love it, mate. Like that's.
But I could. I don't have to. I could be doing other stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and
So what's Run Queensland like? So you're organising races at different locations and
Yeah, we do.
So is there no other thing like that in Queensland? Like,
oh, there's tons. I mean, Kokoda's moved into the Sunshine Coast where we are. Yeah, like we were probably one of the earlier races, and I, got motivated by a race called the Glasshouse 100. And then that race in America I went to with that Dean Carnassus. I raced the race you talked about called Western States.
Is that the one where you got your buckle?
Yeah, the belt buckle, mate. Look.
I think
it says it's a bit of a lie. It says 100 miles in one day. So, but mine did 28 hours there, but you get a bronze buckle for that. I was trying to get the silver one. I just didn't have 24 hours in me on that day. But, and I met that fella there, Dean Carnassus, and, there was that inspiration to try and share my love of trail. And then, it's sort of blossomed, I guess. And I think it's a cool story, and it's doing what we love. And I actually, these are the kind of reasons why I meet people like you and stuff. I don't think it's like by chance anymore. And I'm kind of, when I was coming down here, I said to Megan, we're trying to stop a quarry expansion and stuff in the glass house. And I said, I don't even know really where we're going to go with this. I said, I know that I connected with Duayne, and I've had a couple of texts with Shay about different things over where he lives. And, there's certain people you kind of meet and you feel like you know each other a bit, or you get each other.
Oh, mate, I just felt that. But I think I really connect with people that are the real deal and walk the walk. And you can tell you do that because you weren't just there early on a Saturday morning going for a run. You're doing the growing your own food stuff at home, and then I want to talk to you about this other stuff you got going on too. You're doing you're doing something with men's groups.
I do a men's group called Common Ground, where we meet that's everywhere. That's been going since 1996. I meet every second Monday, and basically sometimes we'll just do processes and that. But then my younger son, my son's 20, that you met, Noah, he's 21. And I've always felt that one of the things, my dad passed away a couple of years ago, that I regret is I just didn't have a great connection with him. It was always just, I don't know, talk about the footy or whatever. There was no depth to anything.
Yeah.
And as he was passing away, I got to talk to him because I knew he was dying. He didn't think he was, actually. He thought he was frigging, once they fix his gutties right, I'm like, dude, you're yellow. Your liver's fucked. And he went fairly quick, but I started interviewing him, doing what we're doing, and just sort of chatting and asking questions and asking about regrets. And they were all nothing around money. And so I really try to connect with Noah as much as I can. So we started a little group on every second Sunday at our place, and it's sort of gone a little bit quiet at the moment because we've been away, so it should kick back in this Sunday. And we just sort of sit around and yarn up, and then basically what we'll do, a topic comes up, but we'll have a yarning stick and you listen to that person while they're sharing, check in how things are going, and then usually from that a topic arises, and then all of a sudden we've had conversations with young blokes how to meet women. And I'm like, what? And how to communicate, because for them it's on phones and shit. And I'm like, how would you do that? And they're saying how weird and how hard it is. And then I'm thinking, well, it must be like that for women and that too. And so all of a sudden I'm sitting there with this, you don't know what you don't know till you find out sort of thing. And so all these great conversations are coming up. I'm learning more about my son. There's, we've had from 17-year-olds to 72-year-olds sitting in circle with each other. And, we just go for about an hour and a half from about 3:30 to 5. Sometimes we'll have a feed after it if we feel like it. But, everyone usually goes on their way. And, I think it's just sharing, kind of pooling your resources. Well, what you're doing with people. You're pooling people's resources.
Everyone's just gotten so busy. And everyone's lost. I feel like we've lost focus. We're so busy. The world is so busy trying to keep up with the Joneses that you've got, Yeah, mum and dad both working flat out, kids doing everything they possibly can, everyone buying shit that they don't need, that they can't really afford.
Yeah.
So then everyone's working more than they really need to be working, because if they don't work long enough, they can't buy what they want, because they need to buy what they want because they've seen it on social media, and everyone else is living this incredible life.
Yeah.
Like, it's just all just fast paced. Like, whereas in reality, exactly how you're living your life is really what most people are trying to achieve.
Well, but it's not conventional thinking.
Mm.
It's sort of like frowned upon. It's like, well, like I'm sort of, you know, it's funny because we mentioned about, what did you say the other day? It's not a cost of living. It's a, what did you say the problem was? It's not cost of living. It's
there's not a cost of living crisis. There's a there's a spending crisis. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I had a discussion with Megan about that. Like I said, hey, what do you think of this? And she was like, no, I don't think that's right. And I said, yeah, but this is the context. And we spoke about the context. And I thought it is that, because if I'm driving around in an old, I think it's a 2012 Colorado. I don't know much about cars, but it's useful for my races. I need a ute, 4-wheel drive. And I've got a little van that I use when I want to go camp, a little express, and it's perfect. Went around Taz in it. But I don't I'm not interested in owning a $100,000 car, because I do not want the debt. Because I know as soon as I'm enslaved by it.
Yeah.
It's a fucking slave mentality that I'm not willing to go down anymore. I've been there, done it.
It's all the way through.
Brutal.
It's all the way through society now, mate. Like, it's just it's a way to control. Like young people now don't have older vehicles. Like they're like, you're lucky to see a younger person driving around a vehicle that's more than 10 years old. And then like we see it with apprentices. Like they all want to have the best of everything. Like, they'll go into debt to buy a fucking tool trailer.
Yeah.
Like, and then they deck it out with brand new tools. Like, and then they still, but on top of that, like, it's not like, that's good. They need that stuff to have their job.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, they want to eat out 3-4 nights a week. They want to be out all weekend with their mates, bloody doing whatever you do. Like, there's this whole like it to me, it's okay to not have the best of everything. You don't need to have a new car all the time. Like, so many people say that, like, all my cars have a purpose. Like, I've had a few toys, and that was probably a bit of a waste over the years, but like, every car I've ever had, like even my big F truck now, like, it's all got a purpose. Like, it's always been to tow big trailers or to do other things.
Yeah.
And when I don't have that purpose anymore, I'll get rid of that vehicle.
Yeah.
Like, and I've only ever had one new car in my life, and every other car's been secondhand. Like, I don't need to have the best of everything.
Yeah.
But it's okay. And I think the other thing is, like, mate, I can't think of anything better. Like, not that I ever sit still, but like, if there's a time where I haven't got anything planned, or I'm not working the yard or whatever, like, it's okay just to chill out at home and spend some time with the family. Like, you don't need to be going out for breakfast and out for dinner and out for lunch and catching up with people. Like,
yeah, I think people's brains have gone to mush because of the, doom scrolling, and I mean, I catch myself doing it, and I'm like, what am I? It's funny because, mate, I might as well be advertising your podcast. I listened to the one with Jamie. I find them really interesting, because they're always different, but there's similar themes, and they're really motivating me to question things again. I start looking at my phone. I said to Megan, are we watching this Netflix? Like, we spent about, I reckon, 30 minutes. We're getting the shits with each other because we can't pick a movie because they're all shit. Because it's so, you know what I mean? Like, they're so crap
there's
now.
too much to choose from.
And they're crap because they're so fast made. Like, they just quickly, because we're consuming. They have to try to keep up with us.
Yeah.
And then I start looking, and I thought, fuck, I'm paying $12.99 a month or something for Apple. I said, have we got Apple? Boom, gone. This is yesterday. Netflix. I said, that's $19. I said, you're kidding me. And then I said, when do we get Prime again? So I looked, and I think we're paying like $50 a month for shit we're not even watching. I'm just like, gone.
You imagine how many people around the world are doing that, and those companies are making hundreds of millions of dollars just because people have got something there in case they want to watch something.
I mean, fine if you want to do it, but for me, it's like I'm asking myself, like, what am I doing with this stuff? Like, I could be like, that money could be going towards another trip to Japan or something like that. Because as far as I'm concerned, that's where it's at. Like, just experiencing all this planet while I'm here and while everything's functioning. Like, I'm like, man, I want to see it. It's so good. And so I'm sort of thinking we've got to question things. And I think the other thing, like you said, like the keeping up with Joneses, one of my friends used to say, if you want to impress someone, impress yourself.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I'm sick of trying to like make people happy. And I'm sure in your job, I mean, the amount of emails we get, and we had to postpone a race in March because it was just flooded.
Too wet, yeah.
It was fucked. And national parks closed the park. There was a wet weather event. Mate, the abuse I got. And we offered people partial refunds. When I say partial, it was almost all of it. You could go to the new event. You could go to next year, or we'll give you a credit to any one of our races, full credit. And mate, ACCC this, ACCC that. And I thought, great. So then with our old friend ChatGPT, PT is it, now put it in, I find out all the documentation and ACCC stuff. And I'm like, mate, we're going above and beyond what we need to do in this situation.
Yeah. No, you're never going to please everybody.
But I've learned a lot from this where, like, you know, that, I don't know if you've got the people pleaser part in your, like, we'll do a survey, say 400 people answer it. I'll get 2 negative feedbacks. Oh my God, it's like the end of the world for me. I'll focus on those 2. I don't look at the 350 that had a brilliant time. They'd recommend it to their friends and all that.
Yeah.
And it does my head in. And I'm like I've got better. I've had to really question a lot of the things that are driving this meat bag around.
I like the 3 weeks leading up to my event last Friday, I went into overdrive with one of my coaches, and because I knew, like, we bought these guys out from the States. One of them's very famous in the construction world, and I knew I was going to just open myself up to something that I hadn't been exposed to before, and it happened. From Wednesday to Friday, like over a 3-day period. He's still releasing videos now, like a week later, that he took while I was here. But like over that 3-day period, whatever it was, 4 or 5 videos that he released with me talking about things, like there was over 800,000 views on Instagram. And so obviously with that many views, there's a lot of comments, and we've got the odd bit of flack before, but like I was like, holy shit. Like,
how'd you get brutalized?
Oh, there was a lot of people, just giving it to me.
Oh, I have to make a cup of tea at home. I love that shit. I love the comments on that stuff.
And it hit me pretty hard. And then I was like, fuck it, I don't even need to read any of these. Like, I don't even need to respond to them. Like, but just it's that tall poppy syndrome. Like, people just not.
Oh yeah.
And I felt bad about 2 of the videos because literally, mate, to give a bit of background, like, this is the thing, people don't know the context of things. So, like, I've been following Matt for like 10 years or more. Like, he's the one that's inspired me to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah, he's your Dean Carnassus.
Yeah, and like all of a sudden, like I've met him in Brisbane for the first time. I've picked him up from his hotel. He's sitting in my truck, and like it was literally 15 minutes from when I first met him, or 20 minutes to when we're on our first job site. And like, mate, I didn't even know the videos were going to start, but like that's just what he does. Like, he's into it. Like, I'm walking around to show him the job, and the next thing he's like, hey, Duayne, I turn around, the camera's on, and he's like, what do we got here? Like, talk us through this. And there's a few little, like, there's 2 videos where I was like, he asked me about timber and windows and stuff. And I'm like, oh, mate, I'll have to check on that. Like, I was fucking nervous as anything.
Yeah.
There was no like, hey, Duayne, like, let's walk around this job. Once we've had a look, we'll choose what we're going to do some videos on. No time for preparation.
Yeah.
And I'm over it now. I've had the weekend to work through it. But if you're going to put yourself out there and you're going to make a difference, people are going to give you shit. So,
especially when it's new, because it freaks people out.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh shit, we can't do this differently. We've always done this, and because it's comfortable.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Like, that's the other thing with the long running. Get you out of your comfort zone. You're going to be uncomfortable. But I'd love to, like, as the guy sitting here, ask you about that, because from the event space, this is another thing we've definitely got in common. This was your first event, and you just said you've flown a bloke out from America. We got to do that with Dean Carnassus. I got to sit in the car with, he came out. When I went to the race, I'll quickly. when Dean came, I went to the Western States in 2018 and finally got to, and you have to go in a lottery to get in this race. It's hard to get in. Fucking thousands of people try to get in it now. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
And you build tickets up each year. You have to qualify and build tickets up. Anyway, we got in and I'm sitting there with Noah and he knew Dean. And he said, hey, is that Dean up in the stands there? I said, yeah. He must have got in on the wait list. Anyway, we run out and take a photo and I throw one of our event shirts into his bag. And I'm sitting at home, I said to Megan, I'm going to ask him to come to our race. So I did. And he said, I've got a space in my calendar. Next minute, this huge thing's rolling. And this guy that, I've read his book and, you get starstruck.
Yeah.
We're down at the airport now waiting for Dean Karnassus at Brisbane Airport in 2019.
Yeah.
And he rocks up, and I've got him at my house. And he's crook, and I go for a run with him to gun. I said, mate, I'd just love to go for a run with you. And he's as sick as a dog because he's travelled 3 time zones, but he's that kind of guy. Goes for a run with me and runs our race, crook. And it's that moment, isn't it, that you're starstruck, and it makes sense because they've created an environment for you to get motivated.
Yeah, yeah. Like it hit me like a ton of bricks yesterday. Like I was absolutely exhausted, but like we finished the event on Friday, and I was incredibly proud. The wife and I were just over the moon, and just I can't explain the feeling. It was incredible. But
it's so it was you, Camille, and Shay. Shay did put this thing together, right? Mostly.
So, mate, all I've heard since the event is, how the hell did you do that? Like, it normally takes a whole company to pull off something like that. Like, you don't know what you've done. And I do, like, the last 2 weeks prior to that event, it was, mate, Camille and I were up to 10:30, 11 every night, like, just trying to get shit finished, wrap shit up, make sure everything's all right. Like, I definitely underestimated how big it was.
And I guarantee you would have probably made that and probably or a negative sign on it. I'd be very surprised after all your costs on a first event. If you've made money, you're a legend.
Mate, we haven't reviewed our numbers yet, but we're probably going to be out of pocket somewhere around $140,000.
Yeah. And that happened with my first race.
But I went into it knowing that. Like, I went into it knowing, like, Camille was very nervous about it, but I went into it in the mindset that if this event cost me 80 to 100 grand, I'm fine with that. Like, it'll hurt, but it's done what it meant to do. Like, I wanted to show people, like, I'm not stuffing around. Like, I'm serious. I'm on a mission. I want to change an industry.
Yeah.
And if this is what I got to do, then that's what I got to do. And like the feedback, like, yes, it cost us a lot of money, mate, but I guarantee you that will come back tenfold. Like, we've already got people asking about what dates next year, when are we coming? Like, we're bringing our team. Like, it'll be bigger, better, badder.
Mate, I'm interested in like your exhibition stalls, because, like, I go to the Gold Coast Marathon and promote, and it's expensive, but we'll get road runners that might see us, but a lot of people will know Run Queensland there. And I'm kind of like, okay, I want people to know that you can come and walk out. We're not racing. There's a couple of, 10 to 20 fast people that'll come and they just carve the course up. But the most people there are like people that train a bit and come and have a good time. Like, that's what we're about. Come and, if this is your thing and you can find that.
So how many people you get at a race?
Blackwell's 1,000.
Holy dooly.
Yeah, it's big. Like, we're not dicking around. Like, the one at Yandina in 2 weeks at the moment, it's about 8:30. And that's with like loads of people pulling out and new people coming in. The Rainbow Beach one, it's nearly sold out. That's on the 2nd of August. There's 600 we can take in that. I had to battle to get another 100 because they'll let you build condos on Lake Puna, but, they're worried about 200 sets of feet damaging the fucking sand. But, so it's just all the paperwork. You guys know this shit. Yeah. It's just all red tape. I mean, and all the people I deal with are brilliant people, but it's the system. It sucks.
Yeah.
It's so hard to do anything. And I get it. They're trying to protect things, but, we're talking about people being fit and healthy and having fun.
Yeah.
So,
mate, I feel your pain, like, with the governments and things, because we had like, I won't name names, but like we reached out to a lot of people to attend my event, like associations, industry bodies, and things, and like we pretty much got told no one will come, like as if a trading builder's going to pay to come to a conference like that, like. And it's funny because we had a few people from these turn up later in the day, and one of them in particular was like just walking around gobsmacked, like jaw on the ground, like how have you done this? Like we do events for the industry all the time, like we're lucky to get 40, maybe 50 people. Like how have you ended up with 400 to 500 in a room, like in a shed? I was like, because they fucking believe in what I'm doing. Like I believe in them. Like we're going to change things. And
well, Jamie said it the other day. What did he call it? You're a trusted expert or something like that. He called you. That was, he used the term twice. It wasn't that term, but it was something like that.
Yeah,
you've
trusted authority,
mate.
Yeah.
Shay, honestly,
Yeah,
bloody legend. That's because I'm getting old. My memory shit. Like most of it sits there. It is, and it's like, you can sit there and you can hear people's passion, and for me, when I can hear that, I'm all ears. Like
I love it, mate.
it's when people are bullshitting, I'm just like, I've got no time for it anymore. I'm just like, yeah, and you can hear it. I mean, I was trying to work out how I was going to be able to come down. We had something on Friday, and meet, but yeah, we couldn't get there, and I was going to come because I was interested in seeing it, but I want to know about the stall because I'm like, if you're going to have. You'll get more next year. I think you had about 600 people or something attend.
The rain really buggered us up. So the conference part of it, we ended up with 430 odd.
Yeah.
And then for the trade show part, there was another, well, all up through the gates, we had just over 800. So there was nearly 400, or not quite 400 to the trade stalls and stuff as well. But we had, I think it was over 1,500 registered, but it started pissing down rain in the afternoon. But it's mate, we'll do stuff in the future for sure. Like we'll be doing a level up run,
mate. Gee, that'd be wicked. They I think like and from that it just builds because those people that have had a good time, they're telling 2-3 people, and next minute it rolls on, and I kind of feel like that for me when I'm doing my stuff is the big thing. It's like with the garden. It's funny because people come to the garden and I just take cuttings and give all this stuff away. And, where I had to buy it all. And I'm like, mate, if you're going to like regen this planet and put some cover over this bloody thing,
you got to give
I'm all
to get.
for it, mate. Like, let's bloody help each other out. Like,
mate, collaboration is the only way we're gonna fix things. And I'm massive for it. And like, I'll mention something now that I probably shouldn't, but my event was to just make this movement that I'm creating skyrocket.
Yep.
And so I actually put it was a message, email, whatever you want to call it, but I realized that not everyone's going to resonate with me.
No.
And just like I talk about all the time with tradies, builders, architects, designers, like we all have to collaborate to get a good outcome for the clients and a good outcome for our industry. So I did this spiel, and I sent it out to all the other builders, coaches, tradie coaches, mentors, businesses that pop up on my Instagram. And I basically just said to them exactly that, like, hey guys, how you going? Love what you do. See your stuff on Instagram. Not sure if you've seen me before. My name's Duayne Pearce. I do this. I'm having this big event. And I said, I'm reaching out to you because I understand that not everyone's going to resonate with me and they might resonate with you. And if we truly want to change this industry, we all need to work together. And basically let them know that if they chose to come to the event, I was prepared to give them a few free tickets to give to their members.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't promote any of my businesses there. It was purely just to promote the business. One responded to me to say, thanks very much for the invite, but I've already got something on that day and I can't make it. So there's all these people out there saying they want to help an industry do this, change that, but they're doing it for the wrong reasons, mate. They're not genuine about it.
Yeah, it's funny. I've seen that like in the running. There's people that the driver's money, and when I was with the Post, I was playing the corporate ladder thing through the middle management bollocks, and the guy said money's not a motivator, and I was like, and he was an amazing guy, and he even sort of said, "Can you motivate someone?" And we all put our hand up, yes. And he said, you can't. He said, motivation's intrinsic. It's got to come from within. He said, you can create an environment for people to be motivated. He said, and you can try and bash them over the head with a stick. And he said, try see how long that works. He said, that, you know, that you'll eventually beat them into submission and stuff. And I think that, yeah, like the course that you guys are on here, by just staying it changes anyway. It's that way. It's like, you know, we've got a kind of I guess a battle, you would say, in the glass house, and we cop abuse about it all the bloody time. But I'm kind of like, it's like with a quarry expansion, which is funny that I'm on this, because I was like, oh, do you talk about quarries on here? And I thought, well, it's a bloody thing. You know, we've got this quarry expansion going on in the glass house, and it was fought tooth and nail when it was first opened in the 80s and 90s. It got bigger. It's right under Mount Canaran. It's literally under the national parks there. You know, these mountains are in the passports, are used in all the thing. You know, when it blasts, it's like an explosion on our house. It rattles the old house, and you know, it's got to be damaging the mountain, but no one does any testing or anything like that, because quarries in Australia are self-assessing. Did you know that?
No.
Self-assessing. So no one goes into quarries, especially in Queensland. They just do their own self-assessments and stuff. But they want to expand this quarry to double it. So if you go through Glasshouse, I don't know if you guys climb Gun at all, but you go through the township. At the moment, there's about, I think it's around roughly, we've counted about 160 movements a day. They want to double that to pretty much 312. So I'd assume more, because they say average. So it's a truck every 3 minutes going past schools, you know, right through new estates and all this sort of stuff. And we're sort of saying to the politicians, because everyone thinks we're against quarries. Oh, we want to close all quarries. I've never been an activist or anything like that. And I'm like, I've got a gravel driveway, for Christ's sake. Like, I get it. We need quarries. I'm not a dickhead or anything like that. But, you know, surely there's got to be appropriateness and thoughtfulness about where this is. This is under cultural, you know, cultural aspects, health aspects, you know, protecting nature. It's all national parks. Like, you know, so we cop a bit about it, but we're not saying about, there's a quarry 5Ks away that no one's worried about, and they do the same product. But I got to a point where I'm like, if you don't speak up and say something, you're just letting it slide and people walk over you, and if we don't change it. And I think, you know, that's what the other thing I appreciate. I'm passionate about the environment. And especially, you know, this one here on the sunny coast, you know, and, you know, I suppose that's what I love hearing about you guys, trying to change how houses are built and stuff, and recycling house, you know, that one so how cool's that?
We've got to release the data on that. We've got all the numbers that now, so we'll get a video out on that shortly. But
do you cop much shit about or trying to do all this, or much flack, or is it being well received?
Everyone, we've had 2 emails come in now from people saying, oh, we're about to start a build. We've got to knock down an existing house. The builder isn't interested in recycling it. Do you want to come recycle it? So might have to start a recycling business. But,
what a great idea, though.
But look, my biggest thing, what I live my life by now, mate, is like I walk the walk. If I believe in something, I go it. I don't give a shit about what people think, what people say. Like, I'm doing it because I want to do it. And there's so many. Like, I've got a lot of drivers now. Like, doing what I'm doing is allowing me to meet incredible people like yourself. Like, my relationship with my wife and kids is getting better the more I get better. The clients we work with are getting better and better. Like, it's I don't know.
It's a reflection of yourself.
Well, so one thing I talked about, I opened up the day on Friday, obviously. Well, I got actually Hector come on stage, introduced, like, did a little spiel and then introduced me. But my opening spiel on Friday to the audience was, you've got to believe in yourself. Like, really, you've got to believe in yourself, and you've got to believe what you're doing is the right thing to do. And I feel like and I feel like the reason I can talk about this so openly and honestly is because I've been the person that doesn't believe. And I think the answer, like, there's everyone thinks it's this secret formula, but the answer is actually you've got to believe in things. Like how many people, and I know I've done this as well, like how many people go to a conference and you go there because you want something. You see someone giving a spiel or promising that you're going to learn something or that you're going to be able to earn so much money or you're going to be able to buy investment house, whatever it is. And so you go there for that. And most people, before they've even got to that event or within the first 10 minutes of hearing the opening speech, are already telling themselves, this is bullshit. Like they've got heaps of money or they've been brought up around money or this, that, whatever. They're already telling themselves excuses about why it's going to fail.
Yeah.
If they just flicked the switch and sat there and took notes, went away and implemented what they'd been told and believed in it, it would happen.
Yeah, but I think that's the programming with school and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when we used to do exams at school, in the olden days, they were actually for teachers to show what the kids didn't know. Now they're to bloody grade you to make you feel like shit because you don't know the stuff. Can you imagine that? Like, so they turned into something that they weren't designed for. They were actually for the teacher to say, oh, I'm missing the information for that child. Yeah. Not now.
Yeah.
You just, you know, like this person that's dumb or whatever like that. And school doesn't suit everyone. I mean, I think school's just was a waste of 12 years for me, other than partying, and especially in grade 12 in Sydney because everyone's turning 18. It was like one massive piss up. Like I just failed miserably I was good at year 10 and shit by year 12.
Look at you now, mate. Like you're kicking goals.
But I think success is different. It's success for me is not about like what I've got or anything like that. It's, I mean, being married for 6 years for me is it like, I find that a miracle. Like, cause I'm not great.
Well, you made the right decision.
She's a good one. But
when you got the decision from the VB can.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah. I chose the right one. But you know, like we've been from Westies out in Blacktown, like we didn't have a lot to know that we wanted something different. And we, you know, especially Megan, she's great with change.
But what I say when you're successful, like, you know what success means to you.
Yeah. And you've said that a lot too, haven't you?
I reckon that's what most people don't understand. Like they're not trying to achieve their success. They're trying to achieve someone else's.
Yeah. Society's success. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. The school success, like, if I get a uni degree, I'm successful, but they're not happy still. Or I've done this and you know, this happiness is not there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
but you may agree with this. Like because you're content with your success.
Yeah.
You're happy. So because you're happy, everything else just falls into place.
Yeah, look, and the other thing too, I haven't got this grow thing because I've got another friend that like owns a really big business and he's all about like growth. And I said, yeah, I'm not that interested though. I said, like, I'm happy to make sure that what I do is really good quality and people have a great time and they're safe and we've got the best tracks we can have. But I don't want to be pushing myself all the time, like to be just in that space of like wanting more to feel okay. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, it's that I forget it. That story about the fisherman in the village.
Oh it? Yeah. All he wanted to do was go fishing.
Yeah,
the Greek fisherman in the olive farm.
Yeah. Like it's true. That's how life works. Like,
I had a great guy in AA. He told me once he drove from Newcastle off his chops. He reckons. I don't know if he meant pissed or what. He just nightmare. Drove from Newcastle all the way to Cairns, right, non-stop. He said, I was just going nuts. And he said, I knocked on what they call a sponsor. I knocked on my sponsor's door. And he said, he sat me down and gave me a cup of tea. And I'm kind of like wired from all this driving. And he said, what do you want? What is it that you want? And he said, I just want to be happy. And he said, while you're chasing it, you're never going to have it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's so true. It's just, if you can just stop long enough sometimes and just see it. And these conversations, like I can feel my energy back. I'm ready to do big stuff in this race. I'm ready for because I'm having a meaningful thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, part of me's like, there's a part of me in the background now and then saying, what he's been talking about? I don't know. Like, I don't even know what the hell we've been talking about. Like, so I'm kind of thinking, oh, this will be interesting because, My Lily, they're all on. She's on a bit of the social. She goes, Duayne doesn't get that many watches on YouTube, Dad. I see he did with his Jared Rennick one, the Rennick one. I said, mate, he pumped it. I said, he's well over 12,000 on that.
No, YouTube, we don't push. YouTube's just somewhere where people watch, and we don't push that.
That's my new Netflix.
But
I know but you know what I mean. Like, it's really funny. So there's that part of me that it's more about what I'm saying about me. Like, will anyone connect? And then there's a part of me that says, if they do, they do, and if they switch it off, they haven't connected, and that's okay. And
no, mate. Look, like I said before, my brain doesn't stop thinking. I got millions of ideas. Even just sitting here while we're talking, I'm like, fuck, we're going to do a level up run with this bloke. Like, we'll have to do something. On But mate, I really appreciate you coming down. Like, I know you've driven down from the Glass House this afternoon and had a chat, and I can see this is going to be another long-term relationship. I think. Like,
I reckon
we'll chew the fat every now and then. I'm keen to get up and have one of these yarning stick.
Oh, I'd love you to come up. I'll shoot it through to Shay, and it kind of really thrives when there's a lot of different people sharing themselves. The younger blokes are a little bit more reluctant, which I kind of get. I mean, I couldn't imagine doing that when I was 21. Well, I wouldn't have done it. But I think it's one of those parts of, we don't have that culture here in Australia. We don't really have culture in Australia, to be honest. But I think if we can kind of create that space for people to kind of be what we would have done that. We would have gone hunting and then come back and probably messed around and yarned up and then done a bit more hunting later or something, and but you don't get to do that. It's just you just that space to just be able to sit and we got 10 acres there, and I did a lot of building or gardening sort of stuff when COVID hit, but I just did it all by hand. I was digging like massive amounts of circle pits and everything out. Like,
how good it made you feel?
Loved it.
Yeah,
mate. I reckon COVID was one of the best times of my life. I loved it. Just at home, nothing to do.
Well, it was the best time of your life for people that just got back to basics. Roots.
Mate,
but it was a horrible time for people that were scared of losing their privileges. Wasn't it?
Yeah, I think...
So if you just went, fuck it, I don't need any of this, take it all, I don't care.
Yeah.
Just, you were happy.
It was.
But if you're sitting at home like, fuck, I can't go to the movies, I can't travel, I can't go to work, like, I can't pay my... Like, that's all it was. Like, that was a perfect example of how privileged we are in this world.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Like, because now you're sort of saying, I mean, we used to have, this lady rocked up and lives in a van on our place at the moment, like a Mercedes thing in the 70s. And I'd sit there, because I had all the time in the world, we'd sit for sunrise and have the sunrise symphony because you got all the birds, like the birds were really active and, just all that, those little things that you miss when you got life flying by.
Mate, one thing I try and do every morning is see the sun come up.
Yeah.
So it's my time with me and my dog. I'm always up before the sun comes up, and I walk downstairs, get a big glass of water, open the back door, and literally just look through the trees out the backyard and
that's what we're meant to do, though.
Talk to the dog and watch the sun come up.
Yeah. Being a human.
And just reflect on... Well, I don't even reflect generally at that time of the morning. Like, I literally just sit there and think how grateful I am that I can sit here with my dog and watch the sun come up.
Yeah, getting the blue light and that beautiful melatonin, I think it is, isn't it? No, melanin. I think it's melanin. It's the one that kicks you into the day and helps you get stop getting skin cancers and stuff like that.
Yeah, but mate, we'll wrap it up. I really appreciate you coming down. I love the chat. How can people get in contact with you if they want to have a run and stuff?
With Run Queensland. You can find us on the socials. We got like Facebook for Run Queensland, Instagram. Then the website's just www.runqueensland.com.au. Just have a look at the events, and if you need any information about it, just shoot us an email. That's all on the website. And we just mostly want to get people connected to the land. It's, we have all the first aid and checkpoints with all the different food around it, and
awesome.
just come out and have a good time. And
Oh, guys, if you're interested and you want to try something different, I'm gonna have a crack, mate. I think I need to do a little bit more training, but I think it's something I'll really enjoy. So we'll be catching up.
I was trying to get the tradies, you tradies, to come up for the one at the brewery at Yandina next week, but I think you're busy. So
yeah, I'm short notice on that one. But guys, if anyone's listening, reach out to Brett and the team. I know they would do a great job because I know what a legend this bloke is. So look, guys, as always, like, share, comment, all those types of things, and stay tuned because look, after the success of our event last week, we will definitely be doing more events. So stay tuned. We'll keep you up to date with what's coming, but please help us continue to make this Australia's #1 construction podcast by helping you live a better life so that you can deliver your clients better projects.
Are you ready to build smarter, live better, and enjoy life? Then head over to livelifebuild.com/elevate to get started.
Everything discussed during the Level Up podcast with me, Duayne Pearce, is based solely on my own personal experiences and those experiences of my guests. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for general information only, and any reliance on the information provided in this podcast is done at your own risk. We recommend that you obtain your own professional advice in respect to the topics discussed during this podcast.